All right, diving right in today.
Yeah.
And we're looking at a story that's
Huge.
really making waves in the hip-hop world.
Definitely some murky waters here.
Yeah, some serious accusations being thrown around about Jay-Z and Diddy.
Yeah, and it's interesting how this kind of situation really highlights,
Yeah.
the whole intersection of social media and accusations
Right.
and the justice system.
Especially when you're talking about figures as big as these two guys.
High profile.
So we've got 3 TMZ articles we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah.
They lay out the lawsuit itself,
Wow.
Jay-Z's response, and what other rappers are saying about it all.
It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, so basically we've got this anonymous Jane Doe
Okay.
accusing both Jay-Z and Diddy of drugging and raping her back in 2000
Wow.
at a VMA after party.
Okay.
And she claims this all happened when she was only 13.
Serious.
13 years old.
That's heavy stuff.
So this case obviously has huge legal ramifications for everybody involved.
Absolutely.
But it also kind of makes you think about,
Yeah.
how we as a society deal with these kinds of accusations in general.
For sure. Like the whole conversation around due process and the impact these things have even before any sort of verdict is reached.
Totally.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So let's break down the timeline here so we can get a clear picture of how this thing unfolded.
So the initial lawsuit was actually filed against Diddy back in October of this year.
Got it.
But then things took a really dramatic turn on December 8th.
Yeah.
When an amended lawsuit was filed.
Right.
And this time it named Jay-Z as the previously unnamed celebrity.
Right. That's when everything just exploded on social media.
Oh, yeah. Things blew up.
Totally.
Jay-Z responded almost immediately.
He did.
On Instagram. I mean, he came out swinging.
Yeah, he...
straight up denied everything, called it a blackmail attempt.
Yeah.
And was really concerned about the impact this would have on his family.
Especially his kids, right?
Especially the kids.
Yeah, who are old enough now.
Right. They're going to see this stuff online.
Exactly. And it's a good reminder that these things aren't just...
It's not just a legal battle. It's people's lives.
They're messy and they affect real people.
Yeah, for sure.
So Jay-Z's lawyers, though, they
oh, yeah, they haven't been
messing around.
Sitting around?
Turns out he actually filed a lawsuit against the accuser's lawyer, Tony Busby.
Busby, wow.
Back in November, alleging extortion.
Extortion, huh?
But here's the thing.
Okay.
He initially filed that suit anonymously.
Anonymously.
Just referring to himself as a high-profile individual.
Interesting.
And now he's like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Why the secrecy at first?
Well, I'm thinking maybe he was trying to avoid exactly this kind of media frenzy.
Right.
Like if you could resolve it quietly without everyone knowing.
Fly under the radar?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now that it's out there,
right.
Maybe he's trying to
control the narrative.
Take control.
By coming forward.
Makes sense.
And it didn't stop there. The very next day,
I know.
December 9th, he files another motion.
Another one.
This time demanding the accuser reveal her identity.
Wow.
Or have the case dismissed.
Oh, so he's basically saying,
I
can't defend myself if I don't know who's accusing me.
Exactly.
It's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to balance protecting the accuser's privacy.
Right.
But also making sure the accused
can have a fair trial.
Exactly.
And, just to be clear for our listeners.
Yeah, it's important.
This motion to dismiss doesn't mean he's saying.
Doesn't mean he's denying that something happened.
Right. It's specifically about whether the case can even move forward.
Can proceed, yeah.
Without knowing who the accuser is.
It's a procedural thing.
Exactly.
It's complicated.
So let's actually talk about what the lawsuit says.
The accusations themselves.
Yeah, the actual accusations. So according to the lawsuit, the alleged assault happened at an after party for the MTV Video Music Awards.
The Amaze,
back in 2000.
2000.
And she claims that both Jay-Z and Diddy drugged her. And then raped her.
Wow.
And the lawsuit also mentions that there was an unnamed female present who supposedly witnessed the whole thing.
So they're saying there's a witness.
A potential witness, yeah.
That changes things.
I mean, these are incredibly serious accusations.
Absolutely.
And it's important to remember that both Jay-Z and Diddy,
of course,
are presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Right. Due process.
And this whole legal process needs to play out.
It has to.
Both sides need to be able to
present their case.
Yeah. Present their evidence and arguments.
Totally.
Before we can
say anything for sure.
But before anybody can really say what happened.
Right.
And we should be careful.
We should.
To not present these accusations as facts.
Yeah, we're just laying out what's in the lawsuit.
Exactly what the lawsuit alleges.
Right.
It's up to the courts.
The courts will decide.
To determine what really happened.
It's going to be a long process, I bet.
Probably, especially with a case.
Especially with this much attention.
This high profile.
Yeah, all the media scrutiny.
And speaking of public scrutiny.
Uh-oh.
Diddy's in a particularly...
Yeah, he's got a history.
Interesting situation here.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
This isn't the first time he's faced serious allegations.
Right.
I mean, he was actually arrested and indicted.
Indicted, wow.
On racketeering.
Racketeering.
And sex trafficking charges.
Serious stuff.
Back in September.
This is just a few months ago.
Yeah, and he's also facing bigger sexual assault allegations.
Multiple allegations.
In various other lawsuits.
Wow.
Now, to be fair,
of course,
he vehemently denies all of these accusations.
Right.
But, all this other stuff.
It definitely adds another layer.
Yeah, it creates a more complicated situation for him, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, it makes you wonder how these previous allegations might affect
how did they
public perception of this particular case.
Affect how people see this one.
Right, and if it even...
And could it influence a jury?
Could it actually
possible.
Influence a jury's decision?
It's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider.
Absolutely.
And then on top of all this, you've got other big names in the rap world.
Oh, yeah.
Starting to weigh in.
They're going to have opinions.
And the reactions are all over the place.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see what they're saying.
Let's hear it.
And what it tells us about the bigger picture here.
All right, let's dive in.
So 50 Cent, for example.
Yeah, what does he say?
He's publicly questioned whether Jay-Z should still be involved.
Makes sense.
With producing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, yeah.
Given all this.
With these accusations hanging over it.
Exactly. And he even suggested that.
What did he say?
With cancel culture these days, the accusations alone could...
Like, regardless of whether they're true.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter anymore.
It could really damage his reputation.
Yeah, that's the thing nowadays.
Irrevocably.
Things spread so fast.
Yeah, and it's hard to...
It's like, once it's out there.
Come back from it.
It's out there.
Yeah. And I think that brings up a really important point.
It's a tough one.
Like, how do we
balance
taking these accusations seriously?
We have to take them seriously.
Of course, but also protecting...
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. Due process.
It's tricky.
Yeah, it's a hard...
There are no easy answers here.
No easy answers.
It's a really complex issue.
And it's not just about this case. It's like...
Right, it's a bigger...
It's a societal thing.
It's a societal question.
Yeah, how do we deal with these things?
How do we handle accusations?
In the age of the internet, where everything's
permanent.
Permanent, yeah.
Then you've got Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy, okay.
Who,
What'd he say?
He said he doesn't believe the accusations at all.
Really?
And he kind of suggested that.
That what?
Celebrities,
okay,
especially black celebrities, often become targets.
Because they're successful.
Because of their wealth and success.
Yeah, like they're easy targets.
Yeah, and he seems to be implying...
That maybe.
That there might be...
There's another motive here.
Yeah, ulterior motives.
Well, interesting.
And I think that's a perspective that
resonates with some people.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially those who...
People who feel like
certain people are just...
They're more likely to be scrutinized.
More likely to be targeted.
Yeah, just because of who they are.
Whether it's because of their race or...
Their background.
Their social status, whatever.
Their wealth.
Yeah, and it makes you think.
It really underscores the need to
be careful.
To approach these cases carefully.
Yeah.
And to consider all the different perspectives.
The angles.
And the potential biases.
That might be at play.
That might be influencing things.
For sure.
Now, Meek Mill.
Okay. What is he saying?
He's come out in full support.
Of Jay-Z's
motion to dismiss.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he's really criticized.
Yeah, I saw that.
The media frenzy around all this.
It's a circus, calling it a
calculated...
Yeah, a calculated strategy by
the accuser's lawyer.
The accuser's lawyer.
To get attention.
And
maybe force a settlement.
Yeah.
And he even compared it to...
Oh, this is good.
Like manipulative radio programming.
Like those DJs that just...
Yeah, just trying to stir up drama.
Get people talking.
And I think that...
I mean, it's cynical, but...
It's cynical.
But there's a point there.
But it does raise some valid points.
About how the media works.
About how the media...
Especially in these high-profile cases.
Can really shape the narrative.
They can totally control the story.
And it makes you think about, are these accusations genuine?
Or is it just
someone trying to...
Some other motive.
Get their 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, there's more.
To add even more intrigue...
Oh, this is juicy.
You've got Foxy Brown.
Foxy Brown, okay.
Reacting on Instagram.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah.
Fill me in.
For those who don't know.
Yeah.
Foxy Brown is a rapper who Jay-Z actually...
You discovered her.
Discovered and mentored.
Back in the day.
Early in her career.
Right, right.
And so her post...
Okay.
She just expressed surprise.
Surprise at the accusation.
Just surprise, that's all.
That's all it took.
Wow.
For her to become a trending topic.
So people are like...
She
must be involved somehow.
What does she know?
Yeah.
Is she going to be part of the lawsuit?
It's crazy how
quickly
rumors spread.
Speculation and rumors just...
Like wildfire.
Spread online.
It's hard to know what's true.
Especially when you've got...
Especially with...
These pre-existing relationships.
Task connections.
Yeah, and people start
filling in the blanks.
Imagine motives and...
It's like a soap opera.
It's wild.
It's wild.
I mean, it's just a perfect example of how...
the
court of public opinion...
Right, it's its own thing.
Operates completely independent.
That's right.
From the actual legal system.
And it moves so much faster.
Yeah.
The court of public opinion...
It has its own rules.
It's ruthless.
And its own assumptions.
It doesn't care about the facts. And those assumptions can have a huge impact.
They can ruin people's lives.
On people's lives and reputation.
Regardless of what actually happened.
Yeah, regardless of the legal outcome.
It's scary.
So it's important to remember a few things here.
Okay, what are they?
First of all, this case is still...
It's early.
Very early.
Yeah.
We are a long way from...
From any resolution.
Any kind of legal resolution.
A long way.
And the facts...
We don't know the facts yet.
...are still being established.
Right.
And as we've seen...
There's a lot of...
There are strong opinions.
Strong opinions, strong emotions.
And emotions on all sides.
Absolutely.
And it's crucial to just let
the process...
The legal process play out.
Do its thing.
Let both sides...
Present their evidence.
Present their case.
Their arguments.
Before we
jump to conclusions.
Make any judgments.
It's important.
The second thing to remember...
Okay.
Is the presumption of innocence.
That's huge.
Both Jay-Z and Diddy are innocent.
Innocent. Until proven guilty.
Until proven guilty.
That's the foundation of our justice system.
And it's important to remember that.
We can't forget that.
Throughout this whole process.
Throughout, yeah.
Public opinion can be powerful.
It is powerful.
But it shouldn't be a substitute.
It shouldn't replace...
The due process.
Due process, a fair trial.
And a fair trial.
That's what matters.
And lastly, it's just essential to approach this case.
Like any other case?
Like any other case.
With an open mind.
With a critical eye.
Yeah.
Consider
all the perspectives.
All the perspectives.
The biases, the potential biases.
The context.
And the broader context.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about the legal strategies.
Yeah.
The reactions from other rappers.
It's been a lot.
And the bigger picture.
The societal stuff.
Societal implications.
Yeah.
But what about the impact on
their careers?
Jay-Z and Diddy's careers.
Their legacies.
And legacies.
I mean, that's the big question. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's a huge thing to think about.
Yeah.
These guys.
Yeah.
They've built
empires.
More than just music careers.
Right.
It's business.
Right.
It's philanthropy.
Uh-huh.
They're cultural icons.
Yeah.
These accusations could have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
On everything.
On their brands, their whole legacy.
Regardless of how the case turns out.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
How will we as consumers respond to this?
Yeah.
Will it change how people see their music?
Their businesses?
Their businesses, yeah.
Will companies still want to work with them?
Will they lose endorsements? Will it affect their future projects?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends on how this all plays out.
Uh-huh.
How the public reacts.
Right.
And how Jay-Z and Diddy handle it.
And you know, it's interesting.
What is it?
We haven't really talked about...
About the accuser.
The accuser herself.
Right.
Choosing to stay anonymous.
Strategy.
It adds this whole layer of mystery, but it also makes it hard
to gauge.
To really gauge public sympathy.
How people feel about her.
Right.
If they believe her.
Exactly.
It's like a double-edged sword.
It is.
It protects her from the spotlight.
From the backlash.
The hate. But
it made it hard for people.
You get harder for people to connect with her story.
To see her as a person.
See her as a real person, to assess her credibility.
That's tough.
It also makes me think about
what?
The legal strategy here.
Okay.
Is her lawyer.
Is he hoping that public pressure
for a settlement
will force a settlement? Yeah. Or do they actually believe
that they can win in court?
That they can win this thing?
Even with an anonymous accuser.
Yeah.
It's a gamble.
It is. I mean.
But one thing's for sure.
Yeah.
This case.
It's a big one.
It started a national conversation.
Yeah.
And it's about more than just Jay-Z and Diddy.
Right. It's about
power.
Power dynamics.
The justice system.
The media.
Social media.
Yeah. How we handle these kinds of accusations.
It's a lot.
It really is. I mean, it leaves me with
more questions than answers.
Way more questions than answers. But I think the biggest takeaway for me
what is it?
Is the importance of critical thinking.
Absolutely.
We can't just believe everything we see.
On the surface.
On the surface, yeah.
Especially online.
Especially online.
Headlines can be misleading.
We got to look deeper.
We got to think for ourselves.
Consider all the perspectives.
Multiple perspectives.
And be willing
to have those tough conversations.
Yeah, to really engage in a thoughtful discussion.
It's important.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
So to wrap things up for our listener.
Okay.
What's the one thing you really want them to remember?
I think the most important thing is this is a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time for all the facts to come out.
For the legal system to do its thing. Yeah. We can't rush to judgment.
Don't spread rumors.
Don't spread rumors, yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see where the evidence leads.
Exactly.
And for Jay-Z and Diddy.
Yeah.
Regardless of the outcome.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be a long road ahead.
To rebuild their reputations.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle it.
How they choose to move forward.
It's a test of character.
This whole thing is a reminder.
Yeah.
That even the biggest names.
No one is immune.
The most successful people.
To this kind of scrutiny.
Aren't immune.
It can happen to anyone.
The court of public opinion.
It's a powerful force.
And the potential consequences.
Of serious accusations.
Yeah.
It's a harsh reality.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Of course.
It's been a
wild one.
A fascinating one, for sure.
Definitely.
And a little bit unsettling.
It's a bit heavy.
But it's a story that's still unfolding.
Who knows what'll happen next?
We encourage everyone to stay informed.
Stay curious.
Keep thinking critically.
Think critically, yeah.
And
have those conversations.
Engage in those thoughtful discussions.
With each other.
About this case and all the
bigger issues.
The bigger issues it brings up.
It's important.
It really is.